Yeah, laser tag lended itself to cheating even more than airsoft. And there's a lot of cheating in airsoft. Like it was kind of an understood thing amongst my friends. Like when we'd go in the woods and play in like middle school, where it's like, all right, this round, like you take a couple shots before you go out because there's only like six of
Despicable.
us.
Despicable.
Despicable? You would
That's
okay?
why I
You would
love
have
paintball.
yeah.
No,
No, you just
because I don't
wipe the
want to.
paint off. All three of us cheated our tits off at that event.
Oh, that's different. All right, let me explain why that's different. Just to be
I
clear, like
stopped leaving entirely.
we're
I just
there. We're there, and especially me, frankly, at that particular event, I'm
yeah.
there as like an ambassador for like a website, 2 or 3 brands, and like I'm supposed to be out there like hobnobbing, rubbing elbows with the players. I'm trying to give everybody their money's worth. People flew there to play paintball with me. So I'm gonna wipe this shit off and like get up next to you and try to give you a little fun because you paid here to come to be with me, you know? And I think what we would do, we would like they want you to walk like a quarter mile back and do this whole checkpoint thing, and we'd step out of the fight and be like, we're dead for this fight, and then we'd walk back into it because it's like a steady flow of people. It's not like one of us made a difference. But yeah, at those things, I would absolutely do that. But when I played like with my friends or at we used to play every weekend. I did not like that. You know, when people would wipe, we would get rowdy about it. There would almost be fights. Like, you know, that's bullshit. You wipe the paint off.
And
I
then
don't like that.
Yeah.
the event that you're talking about, I remember maybe it was just the first year, maybe a couple years, but we were on the winning team and not by a little. Our team is spawn trapping, but on a massive scale. It's like a 700 versus 700 paintball event, but we have 50 ringers. So if the whole course is 2 miles long, which isn't a bad guess, something like that, we've got them pushed into their last quarter mile. So when they respawn, they just walk back and get in the fight. When we respawn, we have a 3-mile hike. You know, it's a mile and a half back and then a mile and a half to the front line. So you can see the temptation to not make that entire hike in the heat.
Dude,
I think Woody mostly made that hike.
I did, yeah.
You were honorable. Yeah.
I had that dam, that big like LMG that's fully automatic, and I think it holds like 300 or 400 paintballs in that drum mag underneath it. And then I've got like 1,000 on my back, and I was in the woods looking at their spawn point, just hosing crowds of people. I was a menace at that event. That was so fun. I had to crawl through tick-infested briars. No one was near me for like half an hour. I was like, man, I hope I'm still on their property.
Kyle, do you like that? So if people don't know.
Hate it.
I had
it was fun.
Like a competition style gun. It's very light. It shoots very fast and it's easy to use. Kyle had more milsim equipment, you know, picture a heavy AR, like light machine gun to haul around. What do you like to play with?
Well, that gun in particular, the Dam, DYEDAM, I love that thing. I doubt the new ones have changed that much because it not only will do that, it'll do an overhead hopper, it'll do an undercarry drum magazine of regular paintballs, or it'll do stick magazines of first strike rounds, which I was carrying around with me for like long range and for sniping when I just ran out of ammo. I liked that for that scenario game shit. Like I felt like I had multiple tools I could bring. But the little speedball markers that we've all got as well, man, that thing's so light and compact and everything's just right here in this little package. The kind of paintball I like is speedball. I want to go out there and some wire spools and milk crates and shit, do a quick 10-minute game, like 3v3, 5v5, capture the flag or whatever, and then go right over here, take our hot gear off, drink some Gatorade and maybe some air conditioning or a fan or something, sit on a tailgate, and then walk 20 feet back into the game, you know, but through some baseball netting or whatever. When we're out in the woods and you're like thirsty and get briar cuts and you're like, I don't even know what poison ivy looks like in Chicago. Is it different here? Is that northern poison ivy? I don't even know. Maybe it's darker. I don't know. I'm just getting I don't love that.
I don't like the anything you're playing near balloons, like the inflatable barriers that are kind of like tethered to the ground. I just don't feel like I'm in it as much. Whereas if you're like going through the woods and there's like pallets stacked up or like an attack and defend for it. The attack and defend is what I had the most fun doing. I don't care if I'm attacking or defending. Usually it was more fun to defend because it would be such a big advantage that it would be numerically like, all right, 10 of you are going to defend against 42 attackers, which if it goes well means you're going to get to shoot like 5 people and defend. I didn't like the speed. And I think it was also like intimidating because I would like be on the outside of that mesh because you can watch like the speedball really good people and they like know exactly where to run right off the start. Like they have a little break and it's like, this guy already knows he's running to the triangle Tostito chip one or the Dorito, whatever. This guy's running to the snake tube. And so when we would try that, I'd always be like, oh my God, every one of them has one of those guns that shoots 30 rounds a second. And so it's just sounds like a swarm of cicadas just always around your head with the noise. I wouldn't win.
Favorite thing we ever did in paintball was there were maybe 5 YouTubers, I don't know, against maybe 70 people with terrible rental equipment on a really small field, smaller than a football field, right? So we're always right there. There's not really much running and we're moving from cover to cover. And we would all have like 10, 12 KDs. At the time, I thought that we had better equipment and more skill, but upon reflection, at least in my case, I just had way better gear.
Dude, like between the first year and the second year there, the first year, me and Trevor, Team Art, were using the Titmans that you had to shake, like shook to try and get the balls back down in there. And neither of us were very good. We weren't helpful on our team. We were like the low tier grunts. Second year, Trevor and I got these like really nice, I guess they were whatever they were.
Maybe.
Yeah, Empire, something like that. And I remember being like, damn, I'm so much better at paintball this year than last year. And it's like, oh no, wait, no, I'm not. I'm just like fucking up all the people who are dealing with my equipment I used last year.
And then another thing I didn't consider is like we didn't pay for our paintballs. So we would have thousands of them. We could spill 300 and not even pick them up or care or whatever. Other people might have been conserving their ammo because they pay for it. Mm-hmm. That is an advantage of that too.
Yeah. Yeah, so paintballs, I don't know what they cost.
It's expensive.
I've played in so long, but when I was a kid and started playing, I think I got my first gun when I was 11 or 12. We just kept buying more guns, and that's always been my favorite sport to play. Like I was good at it right away. Part of it was I didn't care if I got shot. I wanted to move a lot. I was a lot faster then, so I would really want to run like straight up the right side of the field, so you get that right hand lean, that right hand peak, and just what everybody wants to do in those speedball games is they run either short and get down behind a thing, mid and get down behind a thing, or they run long and then they get down behind a thing. They always get behind a thing though, and they and then peek over the top. Everybody does that, but if you just keep running up the right side, you're gonna run right past him and shoot him in the back. And I
like
love
the
doing
Dunkirk
that.
guy.
I love doing that. I would do that every round. We would play 3v3 tournaments, and I would just run up the right side of the field. And sometimes all 3 of us would run. I would be like, look, first round, nobody stops. We don't take cover at all. So one guy on the left, one center, one on the right, and we would sprint up the field because they weren't pre-shooting lanes. They weren't pre-firing. Everybody was just taking off, running to a thing, and then getting down. But that doesn't work when you're playing as professionals. But we were just shitting on people every weekend. It felt like Call of Duty pub stomping. I miss those days. That's when my cousin and I had those T-shirts that said, I shoot children for fun. We were awful.
Yeah.
We were like 17.
You think you still have the speed for that maneuver?
I know for a fact I don't. I know for a fact I don't. But if I knew I was going to be playing paintball in like 8 weeks, you better believe I'd be doing wind sprints in my backyard. You better believe I'd have like a sled behind me or something.
There has to be a play style that plays to your strength. I mean, and literally strength. You can carry more shit now, or
there were at all of those paintball events, like there are like tank characters. Remember, like we would kind of like laugh at it because like I remember at one of those events specifically, there was a morbidly obese guy who I don't even believe was there for the event we were at. He was just there paintballing it up, and he was like rotund, spherical in his body type, and he had more of those pods on him just by sheer like area of skin available. Like I remember seeing Kyle all like kitted up with his shit that second year and being like, damn, Kyle's like a real paintball man. He's got like 4 extra ball sleeves back there. And then this guy, I'm like
Kyle gets whatever he wants for free.
Almost like that. And then me and Trevor are getting we're the pups, you know, barking for scraps. But then this other guy, I was like, this guy doesn't think he'll ever die. Like, he has enough paintballs for a weekend just to go out there. Dude, and he's got snacks.
What impressed me, Kitty would know the guy's name and Kyle might, but so what would happen is, let's say that the teams are going and one team is getting too beat up, right? And the point of this is everyone's supposed to have a good time. So they would roll in equalizers, right? Some sort of tank, maybe a car, whatever. This was a guy where if you shot him, he didn't die. And he had like a saw, and I don't know what his paintballs were in, like a backpack or something. Normally people have a hopper, and that holds about as much as like a can of tennis balls, something like that. Yeah. This guy had an endless amount seemingly. And if you shot him, he didn't care. He just kept going. He was jacked, right? He's like a perfect specimen, 6-pack, big pecs, deltoids ripping out. And he played with no shirt on. And he'd just be like, like, you guys are winning too much.
Huge piece of shit.
Was he a huge shit?
Oh yeah. So
dude, he was covered in bruises.
Yeah,
but he didn't care.
The idea. So, like you said, if he gets shot, it didn't matter. He just kept shooting. That wasn't a rule. That was just how he played paintball.
Yeah, and that's how some of us
play. He was like a boss character employed by the facility to equalize the teams.
So they would inject like 20 to 50 of those players to do that and like push the lines back. And what they would stick them kind of behind your lines, and all of a sudden they're shooting you in the side or from behind or whatever. But when they got shot, they were supposed to quit. That guy got laid out that day. Like somebody did not like getting. You're like, you shot me 12 times in the back. You came in from over there, and then when we shot you, you kept playing. They punched him in the head, and then there was a big like everybody pulling everybody away from everybody. It was like. I did not care for that gentleman. I remember he was wearing like animal skins, like a barbarian or something. I remember like a tiger skin thrown over him, like he was a biblical character.
I just when you're describing him, I'm imagining Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian, just wandering out with akimbo paintball guns, ready to absolutely ruin some 12-year-old's day.
I pictured him like an attack helicopter, but low budget, right? Because he's actually just a human. But like he plays like an attack helicopter. You almost can't shoot back. You just take cover and weather the storm or probably die. Like that's what he's there for, because your team is spawn trapping the other, and he's going to end that problem.
Yeah, they sold all that land at and made a bundle. CPX. I'm sure. Yeah. I think the state needed it for build a highway or something, so I think they really got paid. I think so. Good for them.
It seemed like he didn't have money problems even before the sale.
Yeah, it seemed like they were doing okay, because it seemed like a pretty popular park. Every time I went there on weekends, like just my weekends when I'd go, there'd be like 500 people there, and they weren't all there for me, certainly.
Right.
I think I haven't played paintball in forever. I played airsoft the last time I played anything at this place in Atlanta.
How did you like
it? Pretty fun.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like it gets a bad rap amongst the paintball crowd.
No, I like it. What I don't like is everybody's wearing so much gear that it's kind of meaningless when they get hit. That there's no pain on their end. And I wore my paintball pants, but I just wore a t-shirt and maybe a rig or something. But it hurts when I get shot. And I want it to hurt because I want to play like it hurts, which to me is playing like you're trying, and the pain reinforces and punishes bad mechanics. Like, we don't run straight up the middle. Why? Because they'll lay you out, son. That shit hurts. It's 400 feet per second. But if everybody's playing tactical because they know it's going to sting, then it's a lot more fun to play.
The kind of game you like.
And those kids are like covered with armor, not giving a shit, and everybody's got flashlights, and they were using flashlights and
indoor, I guess.
Yeah, and they were using fog. The fog was neat because the flashlights pick up in the fog real cool. But every now and then, it's like just like in Call of Duty or any other first person shooter, when you bump into a guy and you just hose each other down, man, it hurts. Everybody's got an M4, it hurts.
Yeah, I like airsoft. I might like it more than paintball. I don't know. To protect yourself reasonably in airsoft, you don't have to dress as warmly And I'm a bit of a human furnace in real life, and I struggle more with heat than cold.
Yeah, I always
What a
liked playing
blessing.
paintball in the winter. Winter paintball was the way. Just because the extra clothes made it hurt a little bit less, and it was just something to do. The grass wasn't as bad, the ticks weren't as bad in the woods. But yeah, that's what I played a lot of baseball, but I always just wanted to play more paintball. I was like, "Do you guys play paintball?" And they're like, "What is that?" No one knew what it was. It was like a kind of a outsider sport, I guess, when I was 12. I don't even know where my paintball gun is now.
Isn't it more satisfying to hit somebody with a paintball gun than the
Oh, yeah.
airsoft? Like you see the
Yeah.
little pellet hit them and bounce off, and you might hear them go, ooh. And then you have to be like, hey, I got you. Time to get out. But like if you hit them with a paintball, that shit hits and splatters like a bright color, like you're playing, what's that game? Splatoon instead of RoboCop.
Yeah.
And you know they've been nailed. The bright green goo is everywhere. It's really satisfying to watch.
Pistols are really fun too. I've got a really good pistol that shoots these rifled rounds that go fairly accurately. And like when you shoot somebody in the face with one of those and splat that white shit in their eyes, it's like, fuck, that was cool because you watch it like go in. Yeah, paintball was always fun. That was by far my favorite thing to do as a kid was to go in the woods and play paintball.